All right, let's bring you that breaking news now. The top 6 taxi association says it will shut down operations in Gauteng from Monday to protest government's relief package. It described the 1.1 billion rand offered as a slap in the face. You'd recall that was announced earlier today by the Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula. So joining us on the line now is George Maleke, who is the top 6 spokesperson. A very good evening to you, Mr. Maleke. Thanks indeed for your time. So can you confirm to us that the top 6 taxi association will be shutting down its operations, and exactly where?
Good evening, the viewers, and also good evening, the listeners. Look, top 6 will be shutting down the operations as from Monday. We felt very strong that the 1.1 billion that is giving out to the taxi operators, it's our slap in our face. We'll be shutting down the Joburg as planned before, that Amster and Atta will be shutting down everything in Joburg. We also negotiating with the Ekurhuleni East Rand that we need to shut down every taxi rank as from Monday. So no taxi will be operating from top 6, as we also negotiating with our counterpart Santaco that we need to close every rank that is going to happen on Monday. Definitely it's going to happen on Monday. We'll close all the ranks. We feel very strong that what Minister is doing to us is not doing a justice to us, because he's just playing games with us. You cannot give us, when you check that 1.5 billion, it gives us only 5,000 per operator, which is too little to fund relief. We need to pay our taxes.
Yeah.
We own the bench, a lot of money every month. You need to pay your taxi about 15,000. You need to pay your driver. You need also to service your vehicle, to buy your tires. The warranty of the vehicle, it's too expensive for us. So the minister mustn't play with us. He must come clearly on the table. Let's negotiate a better fund relief for the taxi associations or taxi operators.
All right. Mr. Maleke, let me just get this straight. You're saying just Johannesburg, or are you talking about Gauteng? Because the last I heard...
I'm talking Gauteng.
Yes.
Like, as we speak right now, we're still busy on the East Front as well to speak to the associations of the East Front that belongs to Top 6 and Santaco. We're still also busy negotiating with Santaco to close all the taxi operations on Mondays.
So I understand just with the top 6 taxi association alone, you have about 15 associations under your belt. Is that correct?
I'm talking only Joburg. Well, as we come to East Rand, we still have about 15 as well to East Rand. We go a lot of places. We've got a lot of taxi associations that belongs to top 6. We're intending to do all our associations to shut down the operations as from Monday until the minister says, look, let's debate or negotiate on the pricing.
All right. Mr. Maleke, were you not part of, as top 6, the discussions that had been taking place with the minister? Because the minister had clearly indicated earlier on today that government simply does not have the money from the chunk of billions that the president had announced he was going to give in terms of relief to various sectors. Government is saying it simply cannot afford to give more in this instance. What's your response to that? Because
look, Griselda, when you say you don't have money for taxis, but in other instances, like your house trains, your buses and everything, you give a lot of money into them. But when it comes to a taxi, you don't even give us a subsidy. We compromise our position to a minister to say, look, before it was 50% of loading passengers. Then he raised that to 70% of loading to passengers. He says, no, it's not a problem, because he doesn't even give us the subsidy. Now is the time that government must give us money. So just to close those gaps, because he's been not subsidizing us for quite some time.
But Mr. Maleke, I think I also have to press you on this. There's also been allegations that, the taxi industry is holding government to ransom, yet, you don't even, as they say, contribute towards, a tax. And the issue is that government is simply saying they don't have the money. It is not just the taxi industry that needs some kind of assistance during COVID-19. I understand that the Taxi Association, you're not loading at full capacity, but there are many other sectors as well that are also feeling the pinch. Companies are retrenching.
Griselda, when you speak about companies which are retrenching, I do understand you. Companies are retrenching. There's no money. But look, in terms of our loss, it's quite some, it's a big loss in terms of our industry. Seeing that we're not getting anything from the government, we're not getting even a cent from the government. And then, when you look at this thing, when we say public transport to our taxis, our taxis are not public transport as per se. Public transport it's a vehicle that is being subsidized by government. So we're not getting any subsidy from government. So he must do something for us now so that we can go forward with him and, we have an agreement with the government going forward.
All right, so you were lobbying Santaco as well to join in this action from Monday, I understand. When are those talks taking place, or are they currently underway?
Talks are currently on our way. We have spoken to Santaco, on regional level. We spoke to Santaco on the provincial level. So we're carrying on with our stoppage. That's from Monday.
Okay, so Santaco, the last time we spoke, and I believe that you had also been on the same page as the Top 6 Association, you were demanding between 15 and 20,000 rand per taxi. So the Transport Minister is saying only 5,000. But had it been that 15 to 20,000, you're looking at about 10 billion that government would have needed to come up with, Mr. Maleke, to assist the transport industry, or the taxi industry, I beg your pardon. Do you think that would have been fair, given the challenges that everyone is facing at this stage, and notwithstanding your most important stakeholder, who is the consumer, who is struggling? They've lost their jobs, the hours that they're working have also gone down, and they also have to fork out more money from the 1st of July pertaining to taxi fares that are increasing. That's going ahead.
You see, when government does things in terms of a public transport or taxi relief, he should have, thought of all those things, that we have commuters that will be struggling to go to work and everything. But he never think of all those things. When you talk about 10 billion is just a drop in the ocean. Our president has announced that he's got 500 billion. So where's the 500 billion? 10 billion is nothing to give it to the taxi operators.
Maybe, Mr. Maleke, others could argue. I mean, you have millions of South Africans who have not been able to go to work. Their salaries have been cut. Government has to provide 350 rand on a monthly basis to people who, don't have any income whatsoever, don't get any grant from government, have never gotten a grant from government. So maybe others would say that's a little bit unfair on the taxi industry. I'm not being unfair when I ask you this, Mr. Maleke, because you say that, 10 billion would be a drop in the ocean, but not during these times of COVID-19, where everyone needs to get a piece of the pie. Everyone is struggling.
Griselda, that 10 billion, it's a piece of a cake. We've got this big cake here, which is 500 billion. When you cut the 10 billion out of the 500 billion, it's a piece of a cake. It's not a big or a giant cake. It's just a piece of it. So give a taxi operators that piece of a cake. Let us all enjoy that 500 billion. Who's supposed to enjoy the 500 billion if the taxi operators are not enjoying it. Let us all enjoy that 500 billion. We have vehicles that we're sitting on tracks now from the banks.
Yeah.
3 months. The 3 months relief. It's coming to an end of June. 1st of July, all the banks will be, sitting on our neck. You need to pay the banks.
Yeah.
And then also others will say we'll retrench, will repossess your vehicle. Mm-hmm. Most of the operators, they'll be out of business as this thing comes to an end. If COVID comes to an end tomorrow, most of our taxi operators, they'll be out of business.
All right. Mr. George Maleke, thank you very much indeed for your time. So this means then that come Monday, you're going to have hundreds of commuters or even thousands of them stranded as from Monday. The top 6 taxi association indicating that it's bringing all its operations to a halt in Gauteng. They're also lobbying the South African National Taxi Council, SANTACO, to stand in solidarity with it, to have more taxis off the road in Gauteng from Monday. And of course, this is against what government announced today of more than 1.1 billion rand government relief for the taxi industry. The taxi industry saying it's unhappy with that. SANTACO, who we spoke to here on SABC News a bit earlier on today, indicating that it's not satisfied with that. But the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, saying government simply does not have any more money. So that breaking news here on The Full View. The top 6 taxi association bringing all its taxis to a halt here in Gauteng as of Monday. We'll bring you more on that story should other taxi associations join. As you heard there, that more of the associations are being lobbied at this stage.